A Dignity story.
My name is Jeremiah Harrison. I'd like to introduce you to a very small portion of what I call my life journey, as it began from a family of 13. I'm the 10th child. I have 8 sisters and 4 brothers. Mom and Dad did the best that they could do with us in raising us. Mom was mom. There was always food on the table. There was always a dinner. We always ate at 5 o'clock. Dad was the early bird. So I remember climbing up on the kitchen cabinet one day. I wanted to make my own bottle. My mother wasn't making it with enough milk, and she wasn't making it with enough sugar. And I was able to get on the chair, got on top of the cabinet, filled the bottle almost halfway up with sugar, and then added the milk. And by the time I was done with that bottle, I was running around pretending to be a car. I was always fascinated by cars. There was a cartoon back then called Speed Racer. I would imagine myself being that character and running around the living room because the apartment was so big. We had a very, very big living room. But I remember that big box TV. It looks like a small refrigerator. And running around and circling. I used to always tell me, stop doing it, you're going to get dizzy. I didn't understand what dizzy was. And I finally got to the part where I got dizzy and kind of like blacked out and ran right into the TV. And got a knock on my head that was so big, I thought I had 2 heads. Inside of me, I always had this thing about a spark. There's always something about fire that I got excited about. It was almost something that I created. And when I first picked up my book of matches and was able to rub the match against the cover, and there was fire. Ooh, very exciting. Got to the point where I remember sitting underneath my crib in the room by myself, and I was playing with the matches, and now I'm holding them up. And when I held it up, not realizing the flame hit the mattress right over my head, and the mattress caught on fire. And I immediately ran from underneath there into the living room and sat next to my mother, because they was always wondering when things happen, where is Jerry? So I never said anything to anybody, I just sat there. And soon there was smoke in the apartment. And my father was summoned and he came and put the fire out. Where is Jerry? And I looked at my mother and I said, it wasn't me, I didn't do anything, it wasn't me. My mother took my hand and put it to her nose and smelled the sulfur that was in the match and said it was you. And I still denied it was me. So the character began with telling what we call them fibs or lies. And one of the things my mother always said about us, she didn't like a liar and she didn't like a thief. And now I started listening to the news along with my father and started understanding that there were things that was going on in the world that I was afraid of, that I would not be able to grow up in time before life was taken away. And I remember a time when I quit high school. I never wanted to go to school. I had these things in my mind that I was taught. I taught myself to do a lot of things, and now I was ready to go into a place that was willing to accept me as I was. I went in there thinking I was going into a safe place, only to find out that it wasn't as safe as I thought, because there were some sick people in the war. It was Vietnam era, and a lot of our soldiers were coming back from Vietnam, and when they were coming back messed up. They shipped them out of here involuntarily. They put a gun in their hand, they dropped them off in the jungle, and said, this is what you're going to do. And all we were set up for was to kill and destroy. And little did I know, like while I was in there, I had experienced what we call today military sexual trauma. But I still call it rape. And that in a messed up place for years. And having to hold secrets, being threatened by, if you tell anyone, this is going to happen. If you see anything, that's going to happen. I just held it to myself, and it bothered me. It caused me to have nightmares. It caused me to be very angry. It caused me to be very bitter. It broke up relationships. Substances came into place. I went from drinking the alcohol to smoking the marijuana, they now call weed, to smoking the angel dust. Like, I experienced all kinds of drugs trying to medicate the feelings that I had because of what had happened to me. I experienced sexual relationships with women for years, trying to get back this part of what we call being a man. I felt that something was taken from me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to talk to my mother. I didn't know how to talk to my father. By the age of 28, I found myself engaged in drugs and alcohol to the point where I couldn't stop using it. And now I've carried over my life for the next 40 years. I met a woman. I thought I knew what love was. We had a child. I thought maybe if I have a child by the age of 19, that would make me a man. It didn't change anything. And left me in a messed up place for years. It left me continuing on to using drugs and alcohol, trying to medicate what had happened to me. And I didn't understand why it had to happen to me and why I couldn't protect myself or avoid it from happening. And it still goes on today. But I advocate for people that can't advocate for themselves with military sexual trauma. I still feel the pain, but I don't have to drink behind it. I still feel the pain, but I don't have to do drugs behind it. I was able to live life without the use of drugs and alcohol. I was offered an opportunity to go to Kentucky to a place for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorders because I was diagnosed with military sexual trauma. But there I learned that trauma is trauma. But one of the things that they assessed while they were there was your physical, your mental being, and your spirituality. So it's not all about religion with me. We take religion and we put it on the outside. Spirituality is what I basically work on today, and that's what keeps me going. Being spiritually grounded with a power that's greater than me. I choose to call God and be able to cry. And like what I realized was like real men do cry. My father told me for years, keep crying, I'll give you something to cry for. So that shut me down. Couldn't get a tear out of me. It built up a lot of anger in me. I didn't know how to vent. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to work things out. But thank God for that program. I learned in 8 intense weeks how to love myself. And in doing so, I've now built relationships with people. I've now built relationships with women where I respect you for who you are. And just because you look at me and smile at me doesn't mean that we have to sleep together. And life continues. So like I know them from 8 to 80 today. I've made amends to people that I've hurt for years. I'm at a place today with those 4 kids that I had now asked God if I could just have one more so I could raise that child as he would have wanted me to raise him. And what he did, he blessed me with a daughter. And her name is Hallelujah. It's my world. Me and my 4 other kids, like we have an awesome relationship. Their mother had passed away 25 years ago this year. I now had to put down the drugs and pick up the title Dad. And it goes deeper than that. It goes to Grandpa. You're the bestest. And then it goes deeper than that. I got a great grandson. And I thank God that I was able to be around this long to celebrate my 60th birthday this year. And 10 years of sobriety. And as long as I keep my eyes on the prize, I can't lose. In spite of what goes on in my life today, I will not use. The pain that I have endured, I now take and I use it as strength. Not just for myself, but for other men. As we go from being boys to men. I sponsor guys today. I share stuff with women today, that the questions that they have for men. And I can be totally honest about it. And not sit there with a sick thought in my mind and trying to fix it the way I want to, so that I can now have the opportunity to put another notch on my belt, because that's not what it's about. What it's about today is my pride, my dignity, the love that I have for myself, because I learned I can't love nobody if I don't love myself. And I found out through classes, self-taught classes, I found out through faith, building my faith, that in order to get love, you got to bring love.
Coming up next on Dignity. Roll the track.